Hello and welcome back to Lego City Undercover. This is Bio Enchanted, and today we'll be exploring King's Court, that's it. Here we have yet another little Mario nod, which I quite like. Well, this one's a little annoying because of how far you have to drag it. Because if it crashes into anything that's not what you need it to crash into, it just disappears. So you have to get it to be fired again from that cannon. I quite like that the cannons were identical as well, so you can't really tell anything different about that until it fires a bullet bill at you, and it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. I like the fact that it's not just a bullet bill, it's specifically a Lego bullet bill as well. Pretty well put together. I quite like all the little pieces that come together to make it. It's a really cute little bomb. So here is our cage. You can tell because it has a bullet bomb logo. And we get Mayor Gleason. And here we have something I was trying to build earlier that I wasn't able to actually get done. The ferry to Apollo Island. So now we can actually get there on purpose if we actually need to for future roundup videos and stuff. But you forgot about those, didn't you? Get the usual cheats on because of course I always kind of forget at the beginning of a recording session. And in here we have a few character tokens and a few other things to deal with as well. I like that they cram everything into these little areas. Right, in this particular area it's the easiest to clear, one of the easier ones to clear out, because a lot of the character tokens and gold bricks are all in the same sort of places, because there's not many buildings in King's Court because it's primarily like big functional buildings. So the buildings are large and jam-packed with all sorts of stuff all over the place. This area also has the least character tokens. It only has like 10 of the big areas anyway. And it also has the least annoying super colour gun things to do as well. It's got some interesting ones that are fairly good sizes. They're fairly big so you can easily see them. I like the big blue whale statues as well, it's cute.
I'll get a smoothie.
And of course you have one that the usual super build, the calling point. Still a bit necessary for the flow of the game. And over here we have the boulder as well. I quite like this big courtroom building. It's a pretty neat visual area. It's got a lot to it. Just need to be careful with that cannon because it will still fire bullet bills even though we're technically done with them. Over here we actually have our way up the building. Happily, this is one of the areas that doesn't require you to helicopter in at all for any rooftops that you have no other way to reach them, because I don't really like those particular sections because having to go all the way back to like the police station to get easy access to a helicopter is just a pain. So all these rooftops are fairly easily reachable. Oops. I don't know why I did so poorly platforming up this particular building. And that's just cheeky as well, you have to be right on the edge pretty much to make that jump. And unfortunately this is just a little too high for the jetpack to reach. And those, unfortunately also, even though they look it, they aren't actually solid. So fine, the long way again. A bit of a cheat. Not going to be entirely fair, this building's annoying me now. So I'm going to get silly with it. There we go, that's more like it. Whoops, that window's still solid. Seems very arbitrary, doesn't it, which ones are and aren't solid. It's fairly odd really at times. These roofs are kind of annoying because it's just really narrow things to jump onto. So it's very easy to accidentally slip off and start sliding down the roofs like that, which is really irritating, but luckily the jetpack completely breaks this area, so you don't really need to bother with those rooftops much. And here, finally, once we've got this last super brick, we have our piggies as well. I like this little kind of water feature in the middle there. It's a pretty nice little visual thing, even though there's really nothing to it at all. I mean, it looks like it should be like a super build or something, some kind of optional visual thing, but it just isn't. It just feels weirdly empty. I don't quite get that. I like this little building over here as well. It's a nice distinctive little building. Not a lot to it, but it's obviously some kind of theatre. So let's break open this, shall we? Well, by break open, having repair it. Completely the opposite, but you know what I meant. This one's the tiered one, of course. I like all like little parliamentary flag kind of things up there as well. It feels very appropriate for the area called King's Court. We have a lot of like political buildings and stuff like that. You can be kind of careful to try actually land on that. I like that they were still being affected by the drill even though they hadn't even spawned yet when the drill was going off. That was pretty amusing. Over here we don't really have a whole lot of stuff. This area actually is bleeding into the next area, so we're going to leave that alone for now. because otherwise it'll throw off the next area's stuff. Consider that as a sneak peek for downtown.
I feel odd.
I like this big courtyard areas and everything. Just generally the architecture of King's Court is very strong. And of course our colour gun thing are these massive English style telephone boxes. And despite there being four of them and them being quite big, they're actually really hard to find, some of them, if you don't know exactly where you're looking. Partially because of the draw distance thing. Trying to jump off there, but it didn't quite work out. Rex didn't want to let go. He was too high, he was scared. Of course, here is the Herbert Hotel. Maybe a reference to the Hilton, not entirely certain. That seems a bit of a stretch, but it's got a similar alliteration and a similar rhythm to the name, so it could be. This is a fairly sparse area. We're going to do those buildings later. But there is something here. Not much, but there is something worth coming for. Me sweeping the camera like this in all these videos is basically me looking for things like flower beds and all the easily missed things. I like this little arcade as well. It's a very nice little area. Here we have a rather annoying race. It was annoying because, largely because I screwed it up at the beginning, so it was mostly my fault. See, I made a mistake at the beginning of this race. It cost me a lot of time, and it already doesn't give you much time if you're already very close to failing from the first checkpoint. The problem, of course, is getting stuck on that. Thank God for the boost every vehicle thing. Well, these checkpoints do not give you much time, so if you screw up at all in this race, it's very difficult to actually recover. It's also a very long race, a very intricate one as well. Very easy to accidentally go in the wrong direction, or not take a turn sharply enough like that time, or just plain run out of time because there's just so many checkpoints to go through. They don't give you that much. And one of them is in this very tightly placed area as well, so this is very easy to get lost in here. All these little tight corners and everything, it can be really difficult. But we're not in the kind of bullshit ice cream truck way. This is more fair difficult. Look how close I am though. 1 second off from failure every checkpoint almost. But I do manage to race well enough to get some of the time back by the end of things, so that's not too bad. It's a lot less stressful when you manage to do that. See, we're already back in the blue for a little bit. Not long, but a little bit. That's much better. I like the visuals as well when you've actually completed the game, because you get those little like force field generators and stuff like that in the corners of that building that make it look a lot more interesting than it otherwise would have looked. And then we have the taxi cab.
Home time at last.
Like how simple some of these are, like this little hop up here to get this stuff.
Hungry.
And of course you have another branch of the hotel. There's a lot of them. They're like Starbucks in this area. I believe there's also one, I think the Herbert Hotel was also, there's a third one in Paradise Sands, which is where you were spying on Rex Fury from the rooftop of. But here's our cat. In the hat you go with all your little buddies. Dr. Seuss will be proud. This area is relatively empty. A lot of these storefronts are just like sealed banks and things like that, and embassies that don't really have anything in them. That looked like a thing that Red Bricks could have been in. It wasn't, but it could have been. So it had to die for its sins. And over here we have something we alluded to last time. Not quite last time, but the video before last, rather when we were clearing the earlier area out. That explosion was actually this gate. I just kind of remember this is actually a King's Court area when I blew it up the first time in the video when I was doing Fresco. So I decided to ignore it. Make it a little joke. So here we are. Let's break in here and see what we're stealing this time. It's a nice little car. Cute thing this, although it looks very simple. The downforce. Yeah, we have to get this all the way to the airport, and it's a fairly slow vehicle, so I skipped it. It's a kind of a long route for a vehicle that's this slow. You have to go pretty much almost from right to the bottom of the map all the way right to the top. It's not quite the bottom because it's not a downtown car, but you know what I mean. Only 3 more of those robberies left. And then we can buy the downforce if we want to bore ourselves silly with it. So over here we have one of many little blocks you can climb up in all these little areas. There's a lot packed into this little block, so I quite like it. There's a lot of interesting details like the barbecue fire and stuff. And these bleachers at the basketball courts. This area just generally feels a lot more compact and easier to clear out because of it. Feels a lot less sparsely placed. Other areas can feel a little bit like, okay, where am I looking now? Where have I not looked? But here there's only a few big set pieces to check out, so there's not really as much of that. The only thing really like that is the phone booths though. And of course Blackwell would have surrounded his building with Buckingham Palace guards. He's a very, 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 very pretentious British man.
Hi there.
His opinions on squirrels leave much to be desired. I want to stop for pizza then a haircut now. Interesting combination of items there. Maybe they're hoping to get the hands on the good stoner market or something like that by setting up their head just right next to a pizza. Just, hey, you've got long hair, you're craving a pizza? Why don't you come get this taken care of while you're here, mate? Let's just forget these. At least it kind of magnetise you, and there we have a nice big goal. That's super big. So let's actually climb this block properly now, shall we? Like in the animation, he actually like climbs on the chain link part of the chain link fence, as opposed to just hopping straight up it. It looks. I mean, it certainly he does it with the walls as well, but it looks more real on that chain link fence than in other places. I'm checking around these corners for a lot of things because sometimes things actually be hidden in very mean places in these areas. So one particular thing I'm thinking of in one area coming up. Not in this video, but a few videos from now. But it's very meanly placed. Just take my word on it for now. So up here we have a little route that leads us to our usual thing. So let's eavesdrop at the courtroom, shall we?
Let's find out
See
if
what
there are
mischief
any
is
bad
happening
apples in
there.
City Hall or the courthouse.
Next, please.
Hi there. I'm here to apply for the driving instructor job.
I like just how happy he is.
At this point, Your Honor, defense would like to introduce this monocle into evidence.
I object. Yes, that's right. A monocle's an I object. Stop wasting our time, prosecutor.
What?
Defense would also like to introduce this brunette wig.
That's not fair. Will the prosecutor please stop pointing out the obvious?
I see we're in opposite world to Phoenix
Hi
Wright.
there. I'd like to get planning permission.
What for?
I don't know yet, but if you'll allow me, I'll figure that out.
That's a cute little joke as well.
Guilty? How could they find us guilty?
I think it was all that indisputable evidence.
I hate evidence. Well, if they're gonna punish us by making us clear up King's Court, how about we make sure there's a mess to clear up?
I'll tell the rest of the gang to meet us out in front.
That seems to be shooting themselves in the foot, considering they're going to make them clean it up anyway, so maybe make it more work for themselves. It's not even going to get back at the man, it's just getting back at themselves. It's pretty embarrassing, that plan, really. So let's stop them embarrassing themselves, shall we? Poor little idiots. At least the guys on the, in the forest were bad tippers, that's something.
Be somewhere.
Let's trash the place. The law's up to us.
Yeah, let's leave 5 bodies around the area, shall we?
I'm gonna give you what for?
That's my day ruined. Oh, fine. Tell my lawyer it's the usual.
I like some of my lawyers, the usual one. Kind of curious what that would entail.
I ain't as fit as I used to be.
Probably.
Really getting up there with the gold bricks, aren't we? It's always satisfying to see the number climb ever higher. That's one of the reasons I like these kind of collectible games, because it always feels satisfying watching numbers go up. And also I quite like in some games their numbers interact with other numbers. For example, when getting collectibles, that was weird. Ends up making other things happen, like getting increasing stats, that kind of thing. I always really like that kind of thing. It feels good to get a collectible, and then it's also making you better at whatever you're trying to do. So it makes the more frustrating collectibles to get much easier. And yeah, this is a weirdly glitchy one, this pole, so let's ignore it, shall we, before we get sucked into the wall. Or something unusual like that happens. That at least made sense. Of course, we just check there's nothing down here. There wasn't, but you never know with these kind of little alcove areas. There was a clear way up, so there may have been some reason to go down. And this particular fueling's a weird one. Because look where it starts. It starts on the opposite roof from this one. It doesn't start at the beginning of the route at all. It starts in this weird kind of, the route starts in this weird halfway point that's not anywhere near the ground. Of course I made a mistake here because I'd forgotten that when you get in the gold bricks it doesn't allow you to do that properly. So it just kind of cuts you off and just you drop. So let's get back there, shall we? That's better. Of course we have a little crash mat to make it easy to get back up here if you had a helicopter, but we have no nearby helipad, so why bother? I do quite like the idea that the other half of this area is a free one, though. It makes it more interesting than just going through the same obstacles over and over again to get the free one token and then just get the free one done. Not having to do it like 2 separate times makes it more interesting, because this is all new stuff now. Of course it's only half the route, now you have to go back to the actual start of the route and do the other half of it, but still. Yeah, that's always weird, it does that every time, I don't know why it keeps doing that, it's very strange. It did that time as well. These poles are just getting confused. I don't think they quite know what's going on anymore. I certainly don't. But why fair, we've finished the speed run. I can never do a speed run of this game, 100%. That would be ridiculous. Don't even know how to begin to route it, really. Way too much stuff to do in this feasible speed run that wouldn't be 17 hours long or something ridiculous. You certainly won't be able to cut much out of it. Well, unless there's a lot of glitches I don't know about, which is very feasible because I'm bad at glitches in games. I prefer not to use them as much as I can, because it feels cheap. Let's hope it's how they can try not to seduce him. That was intended to be a joke about the movie The Graduate, but I'm not sure how clear that came across. I quite like this building has got a lot of random stuff in it, including like a flower bed. This is an odd little building with no other way in. Look, there's no doors. Here's a third of ours. Yeah, see how like sparse as well. They're not in any particular patterned area or anything like that. It's not like they're all by the road or anything like that. They're just kind of in varying places. Yeah, the last one's actually fairly well hidden, so that's the last thing I get. I quite like that colour of the Lego bricks as well in the 3 colours. That's an interesting idea. And it gives it a splash of colour too. Yeah, of course we had a Doctor Who parody as one of the cops. Why wouldn't it be? I think it's one of the cops, I'm not certain. Actually, no, I don't think he is. I thought it was related to the joke characters in the opening scene where it introduced the police force, but I don't believe he actually is. I believe I was just misremembering that. Let's just ignore those. They're only like 2,000 a piece. It's not really worth it to climb all the way back up that wall. That's a big wall. We've got enough to do here. For some reason though, I still want to get these studs. I don't quite know why that happened, but there we go. I was making sure there's no extra route that would get me to like a character token, is what I was missing, to make sure I wouldn't end up wasting time. And here we have another crash mat. And there we can easily get to without the helicopter. I guess you need to do the super build at some point. And yeah, we're just about to break 300 bricks. Getting closer and closer. I mean, there were about as many bricks as there were Pokemon. Now there's only as many bricks as there were Pokemon. Well, once we've actually put the pig in there anyway. Okay, that's 151, yeah, that still works. This pig is Mewtwo. And he just kind of clips into a distance when he goes into a certain distance. He just teleports to the farm, I guess, from there. This I had to retry a few times because this guy takes a really obnoxious route. This is actually one of the more difficult ones because this area we're driving through has a lot of potential shortcuts in to take. Luckily it gives us our vehicle right there though, and it's a very fast vehicle so we can easily catch up with him. This one's much less frustrating because of that, because he gives you an actual good vehicle to use to chase him down with. So we're already almost caught up and he's having to waste time with traffic because he's being an idiot. But here's one of the things he likes to do is jump to that little hoop, which can easily put you in a situation like that where it's like, well, I put myself in a bad place, didn't I? Here we go, that was going in there. This other way can be really hard to tell where it's going there as well. Oop, let's try and catch back up again. Oh, we're taking him down to half health, but that's not too bad. Going better than these normally go.
They'll be fine.
Yay, the idiot got hit by his own nonsense. So pop.
You'll never catch me! Stop in the name of the law!
Four more. The Arbalest is a pretty, I like that car because it's a nice little look for it, but also I like the name Arbalest. So here's the final one of these, hidden actually at the waterfront, which is a little bit mean because nothing else is ever found there in this area. Like, the waterfront has nothing else but that phone booth and the ferry dock, which is its own area. So it feels very kind of isolated in this little area. You wouldn't think to look here because generally phone booths are by the roadside, you know. But here we go, let's pick up that final character token for this area and be done with it. We have now completely cleared out King's Court. So I'll see you next time as we clear out our next area. Goodbye.